So imagine you buy a blender, right? You put it on the kitchen counter, and it just sits there. It's this completely neutral object, just, waiting for you to decide when to use it.
Yeah, it's not like it vibrates at 2 in the morning to remind you that your neighbor just made like a really fantastic smoothie.
Exactly. But you look at the smartphone in your pocket, and, well, that neutrality is just completely gone. I mean, we are carrying around these devices that are engineered to actively hijack our nervous system.
It's sense.
It really is. And welcome to today's deep dive. We are stacking up Cal Newport's book, Digital Minimalism, alongside some behavioral psychology research and tech industry interviews.
Right. And our mission here isn't just to like give you a basic summary. We want to really critically analyze the logic, the math, and the underlying assumptions behind his claims.
Yeah, we're really getting into it. So what's the core gist here?
Well, the primary takeaway he pushes is that we need to abandon this maximalist view of technology. That's the idea that, oh, any tiny potential benefit makes an app worth downloading.
Right, like I might need this one day syndrome.
Exactly. And instead, he argues we should intentionally select only the tools that actually serve our deepest values.
Wow.
And to get there, he suggests executing this really strict 30-day digital declutter.
A 30-day reset, which, I mean, to understand why we'd even need something so drastic, we have to look at his diagnosis of the problem. Because Newport claims, you never consciously signed up to stare at a screen for 4 hours a day.
No one does.
Right. Instead, we're stuck in this engineered, totally lopsided arms race against our own brains. I mean, trying to fight off smartphone algorithms with just sheer willpower,
It's like bringing a water pistol to a laser fight.
Yes, exactly.
And, the supplemental interviews we looked at really validate how lopsided that fight actually is. They highlight these admissions from tech insiders like Sean Parker, Facebook's first president.
Oh, yeah, that part was wild.
Yeah, he explicitly stated that these platforms were designed to exploit human psychological vulnerabilities. They rely heavily on what's called intermittent positive reinforcement.
Which is basically the slot machine effect, right? Like you pull the lever or, pull down to refresh your feed, and you have no idea if you're going to get a reward.
Right, the reward being a new notification or a like.
Exactly. And that unpredictability is the specific mechanism that just keeps your brain totally hooked.
Which really reframes that whole maximalist idea we had mentioned earlier. Like, we used to assume that having access to every single app just meant ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
But Newport really convincingly argues it's actually an attention trap. It's designed from the ground up to just harness your focus for profit.
So, okay, since our attention is literally being harvested, let's look at the actual cost. Because he runs some math on what he calls costly clutter.
Oh, the math on this is staggering.
It really is. He notes the average Facebook user spends about 350 minutes a week just scrolling. But if you only use it for targeted minimalist reasons, like, say, just checking a local events group, it takes maybe 20 to 30 minutes.
Which is an 11 to 17 times reduction in time spent. Yeah, it essentially means the average person is losing almost a full 24-hour workday every single month, just to aimless scrolling.
Just gone.
Exactly. And he frames this massive loss through the philosophy of Henry David Thoreau, treating your time as your absolute most valuable currency. He even points to the Amish as a model for intentional technology use.
Okay, see, here's where I have to push back on that logic a bit. Because comparing a hyper-connected modern professional to Thoreau, a guy just hanging out alone in a cabin in the woods, or to the Amish, it feels deeply flawed to me.
No, I agree. That is a massive limitation of his argument. Because the Amish model, it really functions purely because of strict communal rules and geographic isolation.
Right, which most of us don't have.
Exactly. That does not map onto an independent worker today. I mean, many professionals literally require digital networks to eat and pay rent. The comparison assumes this level of total autonomy over our work environments that most people just simply do not possess.
And because modern workers literally must stay connected, his advice to entirely cut out casual social media interactions just seems a bit severe.
Right. He introduces this social media paradox.
Yeah, where he claims that clicking like on a photo degrades human connection down to just a single one-bit piece of information.
The psychological mechanism he's pointing to there is that a digital like strips away vocal tone, body language, context. It's just a binary 1 or 0.
Right.
So it tricks your brain into feeling social, but it starves you of actual emotional nourishment, which ultimately just leaves you feeling lonely.
And look, I understand the mechanics of that, I do, but isn't a one bit, like, still better than losing touch completely? I mean, the book seems to assume that a digital connection inherently replaces a real-world relationship.
Yeah, rather than supplementing it.
Exactly. For a lot of people, it's just a supplement.
And that is a major logical gap. The sources show this slightly speculative bias, elevating analog hobbies like uh, woodworking, for instance, as this high-quality leisure, while he largely dismisses the valid utility of digital interactions.
Right.
Because for many people, a like is just an efficient way to maintain a weak tie that might otherwise just vanish completely.
So, synthesizing all these perspectives, I'd say the 30-day declutter and that core message of intentionality are incredibly practical for taking back your time. I mean, the math clearly proves that.
Absolutely.
However, the complete dismissal of casual digital connection, it borders on an exaggerated, almost 19th century ideal.
Yeah, you can definitely develop a healthy relationship with your phone without having to retreat to the woods.
Which brings us to a final thought to leave you with today. Think about this. In a world where constant availability is practically demanded by employers, is the ability to practice true digital minimalism actually the ultimate modern status symbol?
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. If you can afford to turn off your notifications and completely disconnect, you might just possess a luxury most workers simply cannot afford.